Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a diagnostic video here in the shop. I'm working on a 2010 BMW E70 with an M55 engine. As you see, I've been doing some testing here. I already even run the Valvetronic tests to relearn the positions, and it's not happening. So that's why I have, these ones are pretty easy because the conduit for the wires is just, open, so you can just pull the wires for the Valvetronic. The Valvetronic is right here. So what I'm doing, let me take over to the fault codes. So you can see what we're dealing with is Valtronic system deactivated adjustment fault too frequent. And it's instantly, I can try to, is the ignition on? All right, so I'm going to try to raise the fault codes with you guys here. So that you can see that this just immediately comes back on. All right, remove the key. It's a terminal change that BMW requests or requires in order to, erase the fault codes. Very common. And I'm showing you this. Turn the ignition back on. Every time you do that, you can hear the Valtronic. I know that this microphone takes all the noise away, but you can hear the Valtronic once, learning or looking for the positions. Oops, I just throw my things out. 1 second, guys. So that's a normal procedure of BMW every time you turn the ignition off. So it will check the Valtronic every single time because it's a main component. You can see we got the two faults right there. Yes, Valtronic system deactivated adjustment fault too frequent and is immediately happening. All right, so that's all we need is the for. And now we're going to use 3 amp clamps. That's what you need to do. This is a three-phase motor, so it has a three-phase and let me see, I think it's like a 4 or 5 position sensors, and you have the 5-volt reference in here and a ground. But all we need is these 3 cables. The reason we're doing this test is we know for sure the Valtronic is no good. Now we need to know if that Valtronic motor has take the computer, which is also very common on these ones. So the way that you test that is you're going to use 3 amp clamps and you're going to set those, well, obviously in pico, and then you want to see at least 30 amps pulling every time that motor at least a spike. You know what I mean? A spike of 30 amps. If it can pull 30 amps, that means the drivers are still okay, and that's what we're going to do. So I got in channel 1. I got this one. This is right here. Let me set this one up. So I'm going to be pulling one at a time because the engine is hot after doing a test. So this is a 30 amp maximum, and I know this is going to go a little over 30 amp. Polarity is very important in here, so this one has to be this way. So remember, I put in channel 1 in the cable on the green cable, so I'm going to rename that in here because I got that differently. So we know that that is a green wire on the Valtronic. Now we're going to set up channel 2, which is another 30 amp clamp. Remember always to zero your amp clamps when you're doing this. And we're going to put this one on the Y wire. Make sure that you're only grabbing one wire at a time, right? All right, so make sure that also our settings are correct. So A is a 30 amp, B is a 30 amp, correct, and then C is a 60 amp clamp. All right, so we're going to green channel, sorry, red channel is connected to the red wire. So we need to change that here. Those are my notes. I always like to save those. And then last, we're going to put this one on the 60 amp mode on the Y wire. This also has to be facing backwards. This is a very nice because it's a small yaw. All right, so everything is ready to do that. I also scale the channels down because I was doing this test before by 40% or 50%. I think it's 40% in all the channels. Make sure that all views are on because I was changing the views as well. So make sure that all channels are on. Come on. And just set the maximum you can read. These two are 30 amps, so my plus minus 30, that's all we can see, and then 60 amps. This is a first capture that I had, as I said before, but we're gonna do this again. So I set up like 6 million seconds. That's a lot. And you need like a 1 second per division. That's plenty with the buffer the picoscope have. So turn the ignition off. All right, now I'm going to start a capture on. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. So, something happened. Yeah, because it didn't start. So let me just stop. Oh, that did it by itself. All right, turn the ignition off. It's already off. Okay, so you even sometimes the same vehicle sends a signal to the Valvetronic, and we got just captured that. And this is plenty for us. I mean, we can just zoom in here, and that's what you want to see. You want to make sure that all are being activated kind of like the same way. We are going to measure, let's say, the way that I like to do this is channel by channel at a time. So that's why I always turn the other ones off. I don't get distracted with much glitches in there. You're going to go to the minimum and the maximum. So as you can see, we got 31 positive to 31 negative. That driver is being able to pull 31 is fine. All right, so we're going to go to the next channel. Let's do B, right? So we're going to turn C off, and we're going to put the same thing, right? So let's set cursors in here, and we're going to measure from the highest to the lowest. And we got about the same, 29. Remember, that's maybe my location is not the perfect one. So 30 and 30, same thing. So that means that next driver on the computer is also good. We're going to do the same thing on channel A, which is the last one, right? We're going to turn B off, and then we're going to measure that. So we got 29 and 29. So definitely it's a little higher because when you have a brand new motor, I seen this one like 17, 20 amps. That's just normal. And this is telling me it's drawing a lot of amperage. So we still have to tell the customer we need to open remove the valve cover and then check the eccentric shaft, because if the eccentric shaft has grooves on the rollers, is going to have to be replaced as well. And that's something that uh, you cannot see unless you remove. The amperage is not too high. I haven't seen it, up to even 60 amps when that eccentric shaft is so bad, and that's what end up burning the drivers in, or when you have a sick motor, it's so hard to move that it end up burning the drivers. Again, this is just a short video to show you this test. This is a very, very good test for this. At least you know you got activations, and they're all pretty much, because if we now turn all the rest of the channels on, now, B and C, if we see that, I can remove all this glitter from here. We can see, like, it looks like this is actually reverse compared to the other one. Actually, the blue is the one that's in reverse compared to the other ones, but all we're looking for is up and downs. But we can also see, and I can, flip this around with a matte channel, not important for what I'm doing. Very familiar with Picasso, and I know you guys probably are as well. And, we can come and I'll run this a little bigger so we get more room on the window, and then we can separate the channels. But you can see they all look kind of like the same. I like to separate it always to see what is this computer doing, but looking at the spikes, this two looks pretty much the same. The red one looks a little different, but we got three different amp clamps, so that can also be that. But looking at that signature of the activation, they all look the same. Let's do another one with the actual ignition off. So ignition is off, right? Okay, let me take the zoom out. On. See, I didn't do it by time. Okay, set the ignition off. Sometimes doesn't do it, so you have to either erase the code or wait a little bit. On. Okay, you see I did it there. So perfect. That's all you need to do. In this case, we have still a healthy computer. I'm going to recommend to replace the Valvetronic and the harness you want to replace. This harness that goes from the Valvetronic to the DME always. It's a must. You need to do that. Let me remove the amp clamps from here because this engine is warm. That's what I put that towel in there. Try to protect the amp clamps from temperature. Always try to protect your equipment. As usual, this is just a a good diagnostic procedure that you want to use when you're testing these Valtronic motors. You don't want to get burned. Recommending to put them, a Valtronic motor, and then boom, the car starts and you have the same issue, and it's because you got a bad DME. You have to always think about, give the most accurate diagnostics to your customers so you don't, making them spend, let's say, $2,000, and then at the end they need to put another $2,000 in a computer, $3,000. So you have to try to approach this the best possible way and let the customer know or make the customer aware of possibilities. Do we have a big computer? I don't think so. No, this is good, but we don't know yet about the eccentric shaft. Based on that amperage, I am still a little confident that this might not be the case, and it's just a bad Valtronic motor. But I'm not going to say that to my customer. I'm going to tell the customer we still need to visually inspect that Valtronic, I mean that eccentric shaft. Sorry, which you can find online what I'm talking about. And then all you need to do is remove the Valtronic motor, and then with the help of somebody else, you're gonna release the minimum stop. Well, you need to do that with removing the Valtronic. You're gonna set them back on, and without the Valtronic motor, you can move this back and forth the same way the Valtronic motor will do. And then if you feel like steps is no good, it has to be very nice, very smooth. Very nice, very smooth, from minimum to maximum. All right. All right, guys, I want to do a data analysis. I was talking to David, one of the technicians in here, and he captured something that I missed first because I was recording the video for you guys. And that's what is always good to discuss the information that you gather. Try to talk to the good techs in the shop. As always, share your information, talk with the other techs. It's always good. You pick up somebody else's brain, you learn more, they learn from you. So it's always important to do that too. All right, this is the first capture that I have that on that vehicle, the same N55, right, the one we're talking about. Um, when I was here, he's like, "Well, look, this one went down more." I'm like, "I didn't capture that because this is a 30 amp clamp and just cut it there." But that tells me that this was over that 30 amp that we were talking before, right? So if we go here, that peak maximum for that unclamp is going to be 30. So we got minus 30, right? So these went higher than that. So I went back to the captures and I found that again, if we go back to, let me go back to that one. So we can see here we have the red channel is on red with red Valtronic. So if we go here, sorry, it's right here. The green is the red Valtronic. You see, so it's the same wire, and we can see that we have, I'm going to put another cursor. So the normal, let's say normal, but it's still high, is 30. And then that second spike went up to 42.49 amps. That's very high. This Voltronic will end up damaging that computer. And the problem is, every time you turn the ignition on and off and you move the car, that computer is going to try to activate that electronic, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and that's how it ends up frying the computer. So a recommendation that we can, or I can give you is, this car can no longer be driven. You cannot give the customer this car back. It has to be repaired. But in order to not keep that computer or protect that computer from being burned, all you need to do is make sure the ignition is off. Make sure that you wait at least 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure the computer, as we saw on the process of this video, that sometimes even with the ignition off, the computer goes and try to move that electronic. So after you already hear that, and it tries also only for one time, wait for that one, and then unplug the connector of the Valtronic right on top of the back cover. The car will start. You can move it in the shop. It will have no power. It will be in limp mode, but at least you will now not risk to burn the computer because otherwise, with a driver like this, it will. And let me show you now that we're discussing this. If we go and view the other ones, let's say, either one. Let's pick up channel A. And I'm going to turn channel C off. So we'll only be seeing that one. And we're going to do the same calculations, right? So that's why you need to do data analysis. A lot of technicians take the time or don't take the time to do a data analysis and you just in rush. Oh yeah, everything is perfect, and then don't learn. This is how you learn. Take the time to analyze your data, your PIDs, all the information you gather. That's how you really become an A tech. All right, so if we see here, the spikes are 28, 29.8 and minus 30. So this last one in here is actually less than those. So we have 23. This is still a healthy winding of that Valvetronic motor. What is telling me the other one is that we have a bad winding on one of the phases for that Valvetronic. Still, again, that eccentric shaft has to be analyzed, but this is a three-phase motor. One of the phases is shorted, or is actually not shorted. Let me rephrase that. Is drawing too much, and it will damage the computer. Again, guys, this is very important information, very good tips, and how to test the system, these components that a lot of people doesn't even know what to do because it's very hard. It's the signals are too fast. What are you looking at? Okay, well, here they are. Here you are. Here you have the right way to do this test. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. I've been posting some tool reviews that I like, and that's the only reason I do tool reviews. I don't usually do tool reviews in my channel, and you know that. But when I find something that I really like, I share with you guys, and that's what I've been doing. And now also diagnosis and repairs, and sometimes I get too busy that I cannot do too many videos, but when I can, I do it for you guys. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, I'm really looking forward to get that 50,000 mark, and I mean, who knows, even the 100,000 mark, right? Okay, guys, let me know if you like this content. Hopefully, it's helpful for some of you guys out there. See you next time. Bye bye.